Hi, it's Tim from Fairplay now on the 6th of March 2021 and just finished a very busy week. Personally, I had a big electrical job, loads of new lights, loads of new sockets, loads of other things, all needed wiring in. So all good fun and yeah, kind of pretty heavy duty week really. And just finished that job yesterday, so that's all good. Now, when I got home, all sort of tired and knackered and everything, I was just looking at some news bits and pieces, and they're really going on about this kind of jab passport stuff big time this week, aren't they? And that's the one thing that I think is really shameful to be rolling out. And as one person put it, it's just going to create an apartheid type of society where if you've had the big V, you're okay, and you got the passport, you're okay. But if you haven't, you're going to be a second-class citizen, basically, not allowed to get on planes, go to concerts, and get on trains, go to football matches. Maybe you're not even allowed to go into shops and God knows what else, really, pubs and the rest of it, which is kind of worrying. Maybe not quite so much for me because I've never really one for sort of crowds and crowded places anyway. I tended to sort of avoid them whenever possible, although obviously I do like to go on holidays and sort of fly off to nice countries and all the rest of it. So how much of that is going to be kind of limited in the future, I guess we're going to have to just wait and see. But I did get a little bit of a sense of how things might be going because I was looking down my YouTube news feeds bit. Yeah, I was looking down my YouTube news feed bit, and I think it was an article from The Sun. They were going on about how the EU were going to introduce sort of vaccine passports and not allow anyone into the EU without one. So I know I was a little bit stupid and I shouldn't leave comments on mainstream media sort of videos really, but I couldn't help myself this one night and I just left a message or a comment saying something along the lines of, I guess I won't be going to the EU anytime soon then. That's all I said. Didn't think anything more of it. Went to bed and then came down the next morning and only to see that some lovely person had just left a very negative comment against me, saying something like, well, they won't miss you because nobody likes an anti-vaxxer. And I thought, really? Is that what the propaganda are sort of teaching these people now, to sort of basically dislike or even hate anti-vaxxers? When all we've done is done our research and come to the conclusion that it's not a good idea to, sort of have the jab. It seems very logical to me that personally I'll probably only stand about a 1 in 2,000, 1 in 5,000, whatever the odds are, chance of sort of dying if I get the lurgy. So pretty good odds, even if I do get the lurgy in the first place. And I just think that having the jab, the odds might not be that high. So why would I want to lessen my odds, basically? So that's a rational decision that I've come to. So to be persecuted for that, I think is bang out of order. And I just hope that this kind of madness ends soon. And one thing that has shocked me, to be honest with you, is a lot of people, especially a lot of people who are very anti-lockdown, the likes of Julia Hartley-Brewer, Peter Hitchens, Lord Sumption, they all seem to be very, well, not very pro, but fairly to moderately pro jab. I mean, Peter Hitchens has admitted just very recently that he's had the first one, just so that he can go abroad and see his sort of family, who many of whom live abroad, I believe. Julia Hartley-Brewer said when it first came in, she was basically, oh, yippee, yippee for the big V, you know, that's fantastic news, which, again, I didn't really expect that kind of attitude from her. And Lord Sumption, this kind of ex-Supreme Court judge who's been, again, very, very anti-lockdown, he was on, I think the site is, or the channel is Unheard, UNHERD, and the guy from Unheard was interviewing Lord Sumption, and what he basically said was, yeah, these sort of passports are the lesser of two evils, the greater one being lockdowns, and if the passports get us out of lockdowns, that's a good thing, even though it might mean that there's a minority of people, and he sort of said a tiny minority of people, but I don't think it'd be a tiny minority. I think it'd be somewhere in the order of 20 to 30%, so quite a significant minority of people, you know, would be discriminated against, and that's basically sort of tough, was his attitude, which I thought, well, that's great, isn't it? So just so many of these people just seem to not get it. They can't, I just can't understand why these supposedly very intelligent people, or otherwise very intelligent people, like Julia Hartley-Brewer, Peter Hitchens and Lord Sumption, how they can't get the whole sort of fact that there's many, many people out there who don't want to have the jab and would rather just take their chances with the lurgy. Anyway, weird thing. So moving on, as I've been going out and about this week, I've noticed there's been lots and lots and lots of mask wearers. I mean, it's just been going up and up as the months have been going by, and it seemed to sort of leap up when the November lockdown started. And this is people wearing masks outside. And before November, there wasn't that many, just the very odd, probably ultra sort of cautious person or scaredy sort of type person. And then it kind of let up more in November, I noticed, as I was out and about. And then it let up even to a higher degree at the start of the year, in January, when this lockdown started. And it just seems to be, yeah, more and more and more people out and about are wearing masks. Now, this job I'd been telling you about, where I was working, is a quiet kind of residential road, but I noticed there seemed to be a lot of people walking up and down this road for some reason, whether it was some kind of cut through to wherever. And I would say maybe not quite half, but getting on for half of them were just walking up and down the road with their, you know, sort of masks on. And I'm just sort of thinking, shaking my head, thinking, good grief. And you can tell that a lot of these people are sort of very fearful as well. I mean, as I was sort of going out from this house I was working in, going out to my van to get bits and pieces and bringing them back in, there'd sometimes be one of these walkers going along the pavement as I was sort of going to my van, and they'd just literally kind of step right out of my way, because it was one of those pavements where you've got about 3 or 4 foot of pavement and then another 3 or 4 foot of kind of grass verge, and then the road, one of those sort of setups. And a lot of these people were sort of going right onto this sort of, muddy, bearing in mind the time of year, those kind of grass verges, and anywhere grassy, sort of muddy as heck at the moment, probably slippery as well. And this verge wasn't a level, it was on a fair bit of a slope, kind of about that much of a slope. And these people were just sort of stepping down onto this grass verge to get out of my way so that I wouldn't poison them, even though they probably stood a lot more chance of slipping on the muddy verge and going crashing down to the road, and possibly sort of doing themselves mischief there. And it's just unbelievable. And you could just sort of kind of see the fear on their faces as well. And one guy, I think he was in the house next door, he was pulling his wheelie bin sort of back into his house off the road after it was emptied. And again, I happened to be there as he was sort of pulling it in. And he kind of just almost retreated back into his house when he saw me. And he kind of stepped way back sort of to his garden gate, and then kind of came back when he saw I was going, even though I wasn't anywhere near him at all. And then another little incident that happened on this job, so I'm working in this house and I hear the doorbell go. The homeowners weren't in, so I went down to answer the door thinking it was going to be parcel delivery, that kind of thing. So no bother, just take it in for them. But it wasn't. It was this sort of young girl, probably about 18-year-old girl. Again, all sort of masked up. And that was a bit of a funny one actually, because she was actually round to sort of tell me off for doing all my drilling work. And I was kind of, because she was trying to sort of do studying or something. And I sort of said, well, I'm trying to work. And she said, well, can you kind of at least not do anything until 11 o'clock? And it did so happen I had some quieter stuff to do. Pulling some cable under the floorboards to get them to the places I needed to be, and other fun little things that we electricians like to get up to that don't make quite so much noise. So, I kind of live and let live. So I kind of compromised and said, I'll do that. But it's funny, the reason why I'm mentioning her, apart from that, is when I got to the door, I kind of opened it fairly quickly and she kind of leapt back because she was standing right on the doorstep, and she sort of leapt back, almost like I'd given her a sort of an electric shock. And that's what it looked like. And she sort of scurried back to her sort of 2 meters, quick as anything. I'm bearing in mind that she's already sort of got that on, and she's only 18, so she probably stands about as much chance of dying of the lurgy as she has of getting struck by lightning. But it's just the fear. And she did look pretty fearful when I kind of first appeared there. And I'm just going to finish this. I've related quite a few things here, but this is quite a funny one to finish on. Again, at this job, I was going out to the van. It's towards the end of the job. It was only yesterday. I was starting to get stuff back into the van, packing up and stuff, getting near to the end of the job. And I'm going out to the van, and on the other side of the road, and I'm on the pavement going towards my van on one side of the road. So got the pavement, and then this sort of quite big verge that I told you about, and then the road. And then this bloke was sort of walking up the other side of the road, like that again, like so many of them. And he's walking along, and kind of as he's starting to get kind of level to where I am on my side of the street, and I wasn't really paying much attention to him, but I kind of suddenly noticed he started running, and only jogging really, or trotting, because he was more of an older type of gentleman, probably early mid-60s. So, but he was definitely sort of trotting, and I thought, why has he suddenly started running? Late for a bus or something, perhaps. And then when he kind of was a few yards past me, he stopped and just started walking again. And I sort of thought, why did he do that? And then it kind of dawned on me, and I thought, oh my God, you weren't running past me to sort of get out of my way or get past me as quickly as possible, were you? Even though I'm here, this side of the street, and you're all the way over there on that side of the street, you know, probably 5 or 6 meters away, let alone the 2 meters. And that's the only explanation for that bit of behaviour that I can sort of think of. And it's sad and it's pathetic, but you've got to laugh as well. How can someone just be so frightened that they want to sort of break into a little run just to get past you really, really quickly, as quickly as they can? Just it's funny, but kind of sad as well. So that was my week, really. A few observations there and a few comments on the week. A bit of news there, quite a lot to say. So I'm going to leave it there for today, but I'll no doubt be back again in the near future with probably some more sort of weird and wonderful stuff to talk about. So it's Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.